Okay, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Okay guys, this is the last task we're going to revise, and this task contains all the syllabus of the access part or the database part and later the presentation part. So once we have done this task, you have revised each and everything you need to know in these two sections in paper 2. So this is very important task, and this video is recorded, so microphones are off. If you would like me to revise any of the points, or if you have any kind of questions, you can comment down there, and I will be reading your comments, and I can pause the video and elaborate on a specific point for you. Before I start the task, I'm just going to show you what we are expecting here to find in this task. For example, we are actually going to import a couple of tables, and then whenever you are importing a tables, we'll be importing a table with field names and data types ready for you and given, which is the typical way of asking you to import the tables. However, they might ask you to create a new table and then add records to the table using a file. So this one as well might come in the exam, so I'm going to revise this as well. In terms of primary key, we're going to revise different ways of asking you to create or not to create a primary key. For example, they might ask you to create a primary key from a field already there in the table, which is the simplest methods, or they might ask you to let the application add a field to your table as a primary key, and this field names can be ID or it can be changed later to another name. However, the application itself will be adding the field, or they might ask you not to use a primary key at all. And so we're going to revise these three while using the task or doing the task. In terms of data entry fields or form, we're going to use a user-friendly form, and we're going to add the following features to the form. They might ask you to use a data entry form without adding features, or they might ask you to add features. So in both ways, we're going to go through them. Okay. Now, in terms of queries, we're going to create the following queries. We're going to create a query for a report or a label. We're going to create a query only to be extracted and exported later outside the application, so we can add it later to a Word, or we can add it to the PowerPoint or presentation section. So we're going to extract it or export it later outside the application, or we can create a summary query, which is very rare to come in the question, but I'm going to explain the idea of summary query and how we can also export it later outside the application. In terms of report, we're going to cover two types of different reports, which is tabular reports or labels. And in both of them, you need first to create a query, as you know. And however, the query can be either converted into a report, or it can be converted into labels. Validations, and this is chapter 7 as well, if you remember. In validations, they might ask you to set some sort of validations. It come one time only in 2017, and they asked to create a validation of a range. However, here I'm going to do all of them and explain how the questions might come in terms of validation and how we can set a validation. Okay, so I hope we can cover this in a smooth way. And as I said, if you have a question, you can always comment, and I will be getting back to you again. Okay, so should we start? Can you please confirm that we can start now? Okay, let's start. So database access section, you're now going to prepare a report. Data should be important, and always it's a DMY because this is a date format used for UK. So days must be first, month, and then year. Use a database software to import the file child.csv as a new table, and this is one type of the table that you might get in the exam. The table is a very simple one. This is the simplest method, where you get the field names and you get the data type. Okay, so I have nothing to do actually but making sure that these field names has these data type, and later after we finish importing the table, we're going to double check that, for example, the food allergy is set to yes/no, not a checkbox, not 0 and -1. And for the dates, we're going to let access decide the dates. It will be only DMY in this case because there is no specific dates here, as you can see. So let's do this table. And to do this table, first of all, I need to create, of course, my Access database. And in my Access database, I will go enable content, I will go external data from a file, and it's always a text file. Remember, it's always a text file. And then you need to jump inside your folder and find the table. And whenever I go next, pay attention carefully to this. It's always delimited next. And in this here, you might have different questions. These questions, you have the field names in the first row here, which is 99 of the questions. You get the field names in the first row, and the rest are normal records. So I can just tick here and make sure that I'm using these field names, because if I forget to tick here and I go advanced, you'll find that there are no names here for the fields. But if you tick here, then you have the names down here, and you can set the data types. Okay, so this is one of the ways. Another table, you might come without field names in the first row, and we'll come across this later. So let's do this one first. This is a straightforward table, so I'll just tick here, double check that I'm using a DMY as usual, and then I'm going to go next. And from here, I can actually set the data type for each and every field depending on the question. And if I check the questions here, all the first four fields should be text. So I'll just double click that each and every one of them is text until I go to the date, DOB. DOB and reg underscore date should be both of them, date slash time. So both of them are here, date slash time. And we have food allergy should be yes slash no, so this one should be changed from long integer into yes slash no. And later, after I import the table, I can display them instead of 0 and -1 to yes or no, true or false, or -1 and 0 itself. So you can do this later. So whenever you look at this type of display, this display area or these boxes here can be done only after you finish importing your table. Okay, so now what we need to do here, we need to go now and double check this one is a short text, and the contact number also should be a short text. And remember, telephone number, contact numbers, even though they look like a long integer as you can see here, however, whenever they ask you to set them as a text for two reasons. One of the reason is they are not going to be used for any calculations, multiplication, division, subtraction, or addition. And the other reason is you might be asked to join them with other texts, such as later on we're going to do it. We will add country code in front of them. Now, to add a code in front of them without adding the code to the actual number, it should be a text, so we can put text next to a text. Okay, so just pay attention to whenever you have a contact number, a phone number, something like this. If you pay attention, it will be always a text field, not a number, or not a long integer field. Okay, now this is the idea that I said in the first of the table, that you can actually ask you to create a primary key with different ways. For example, they might ask you to choose a specific field, just like in this table here, where they ask you to choose child underscore ID as your primary key. So in this case, I'll just select choose, and then I'm going to child. And if you look, this field has no duplication, which is a feature of a primary key. Another question, we're going to do it later, is they might ask you to let the application add a field to the left here, which will be the primary key. In this case, we're going to click on this one, and it will add a field for you in the left, and this field will be your primary key. As you can see, it will just add a simple primary key field, which is just a running numbers. In other question, they might ask you that the table does not even need a primary key. In that case, you click on this one, where no primary key is needed in this table. But if we follow now the question says choose a specific primary key, and it should be child ID. And now I'm done with this table. And remember, once you are done, you are not 100% done until you go and look at this area, which is the display area, because this display area is very important. It shows you some formatting that you have to do. For the date, sometimes they say make sure that the date is DD, MM, and YY. We can follow it, but for here, it's not there. What's there is it should be Boolean, and it should be yes slash no. And this is very important, because if you double click here, the Boolean field is just a checkbox, and it shouldn't be a checkbox, it should be a text box. So I'm going to go into design view, click on the field itself, make sure that I'm in formatting down there, field properties, it's a yes no, go to the lookup, change the checkbox into a text box. Okay, and then you can save and display the table to double check that everything now appears that they need in the question paper, and this now is done. Most of the time they ask you for an evidence, of course, and the evidence will show field names and will show data types and will show the primary key. And I think you know how we can do this. You just need to go design view and use a snipping tool to only show this area, and you put it there under your evidence. Okay, so this one will be your evidence for this table, and then you can just close the table. Next, we need to import another file as a new table, okay? And also, we're going to use these field names and data type, but see, here it's different. It says that let the application add a primary key for you. So whenever we're importing this table, we're not going to use one of these fields as a primary key field. We're going to let the access add a new field for us, and it will be with the name ID. So let's do it, and let's import this booking table. You go external data, and as usual, it's a text file, and it's a booking table. And as you can see here, the first row contains field names and the rest of the rows are just records. So I can tick this one. Always go advanced, double check that it's a DMY. Even if you have done it the first time, most of the time it will be continuously DNY. So we go next and we double check. These should be text, date, text. So text, text, text. This is a date, this is a date, and this is a text. So we're good. So I'm going to go next, and now they say let the access add a field with the name ID. So let the access here add a field. As you can see now, we have a new column here which has the primary key, which is the ID. If they say do not use a primary key, we click on this one. Okay. So let's go next, and now I've done. Do we have a specific display issues? Yes. The start time and the end time, both of them should be hours and minutes. So how we do this? You go design view, and you go here, and down here it's a HHMM, and also in this one hours and minutes. I'm going to save. I'm going to show you how it looks like, hours and minutes. Okay, and nothing else. Evidence, the same evidence we do all the time for the tables. You go design view, and using a snipping tool you take an evidence of this part only, and that's it for this table. Now, this is a different question now. Importing another table in a completely different way, and this question came 2014, where they ask you to create a new table with the name makers. So we're not importing a file that is ready for us, we're creating a new table, and we're going to use in the table that we're creating the following field names and the following data types, okay? And to do so, instead of going external data, I'm going to go create, and then table, and then I'm going immediately to go design view, and then it will ask me to make it or to name it. So it should be makers, the name is makers, so I'll name it makers. And as you can see, this is now an empty table, and the application will create a primary key for me with the name ID, which is auto number 12345. I can change the name, it doesn't matter the name, and I don't need it actually, because if you look here, they say maker code, maker city, and country. So I'm going to change this into a maker underscore code, and then I need a maker here, and then I need a country here, I need a city, and then a country. So this one should be city, and this one should be country, and all of them should be short text, as you can see here now. Okay, and they say set the maker code as a primary key. So the maker code here will be set from this area here as a primary key. Okay, I'll save my table. Now I have another table, but if I go down there here, you will find that the table is empty because I've just created the table. There are no records in this table. And this is why the question says next, you can now import the records for this new table from a ready file, which is maker.csv. And to do so, I'm going to go external, from file, makers, And instead of saying import it as a new table, these are only records, I will say append it or append a copy to the table that were just created, which is the maker table. Are you good, guys? Are you following me so far? Yes. So append it here. And as you can see here, I go next. And if you look, all of them are records. First row does not contain any field names. These are pure records, okay? So I'm going to go next, finish it up. And if I go now to my maker table and open it, here we go. It's populated now with these records, okay? So this is a different way of asking you a question as well. We don't need any evidence, so I'm just going to click and close it. Next, relationship, of course, and always the relationship is one-to-many relationship, one primary to a foreign key, and it should be between the child ID in the child and the booking tables, okay? So I'm going to create relationship, and I'm going to add only the child and booking, and it should be between child ID and booking table. So I'm going to use the child ID, which is primary. The child ID in the booking table is a foreign key, and it's not primary, and that's why the relationship is always one-to-many. And this is your evidence. If they ask you for an evidence, it's showing the fields, it's showing the tables that you are using for the relationship, and down there it's showing that the relationship type itself is one-to-many. Okay, and make sure that you save the relationship, close the relationship, and we create relationships so we can create reports from both tables at the same time without problem. Okay, and we've done the evidence. Number 3, the first type of report we mentioned we can have a tabular report, we can have labels, we can have an extract, and in all of them we need to create a query first. In all of them we need to create a query. The difference is whether the query will be a tabular report, or the query will be a label, or the query will just be exported or save in a different file format outside the applications. And this is what we're going to cover. The first one, the query, will be a report. And for the query, instead of sending all the records in all the tables, I'll just look where it asks me to select some of the record for the report, which is this area here. Sometimes it's at the beginning of the report, sometimes it's here. However, these fields needed to be included where in the report. So I will just take advantage of that and use the same field in my query to make it just shorter query. You can send all of them, but this method is just making them shorter query. Are we good, guys? Any question, please comment down there, and I can repeat any step. So let's do it now. Let's do this query here. So how we do a query, you go create, you go, not query design, even though sometimes it's simpler, but let me go into query wizard, and I'm going now to send the fields, which is child ID, first name, last name, and I think these are in the child table, child ID, first name, last name, and DOB, day session, DOB, we have day here, day session, and start time, end time, start time, end time, and we need total time and international count. But these two I'm going to create here. This is the total time, which will be a new field in the query, and international count will be a new field in the query as well. So you won't find them. We're going to create them later or build them later. So for now, the query is done immediately. I'm going to go design view, and I'm going to go back to step 1, okay, because I should start actually from here. I'm just coming here to use the fields, and the session should be morning or sunrise club. So under the session, I'm going to include morning or sunshine club, and I'm going to run and double check both of them appear, morning appear and sunshine club appear, and now we have 25, 27 records. And what do we have? First name should start with the letter L, and whenever they say first name start with L, I will put L, and since I don't care what's come after it, I will put a star. If they say end with L, you will put a star and then L. If they say contain L, you put L between the star. So the star is always important to show them that this will be part of the text. And now they say start with L, so L, and I don't care what's after it, so I'll put a star. and I will run it to double check all first names start with L, and we're good to go. And now total time should be between 1.5 and 5, and I cannot do this because total time should be done here, should be created first, and then later it should be filtered. So I'm going to create the field total time first, which is a runtime field. That means this field is not part of the table. This field will be only created in the report, and it will stay in the report. So it should be this exactly: end time minus start time multiplied by 24. So let me build this one. I have an empty column here, so I can say this one should be okay, end time minus start time. So end time minus start time, both of them between brackets. So the subtraction will happen before the multiplication because they ask you to multiply it by 24. Once I do this and I click OK, it's ready. However, the name is expression 4. So I'll just change the name now with the name they need, which is total time. And here we go. And let me run it and see, and it appears total time, and these are the numbers that appears. Okay, now I can go back and filter it. It should be between 1.5 and 5. So under total time, I'll put between 1.5 and 5, or you can put it this way: greater than or equal 1.5 and less than or equal 5. Both of them are correct. Okay, both of them are correct. So choose whatever you feel you are accustomed to. Okay, and now it's good. And now next we have international cont, and this one should add the country code 249 in front of each and every contact number. So I'm just adding that country code. And remember, contact number there is text, and we're going to add this number. So I'm going to make sure that this number is added as a text so they can be put next to each other in front of it. Okay, it will be to be shown in front of it, not to be added to the actual number. And to do so, I'm going to go build again, and I'm going to say plus 249, which is a text. That's why I'm putting the quotations here, as you can see. And it will be plus the code. Let me check the table. Okay, it should be here, which is the contact number here. Double click, and I'm adding the contact number. Okay, so I'll do this, and I'll make sure that I remove everything but the contact number. Okay, run. As you can see here now, we have it. Plus 249 is added to each and every number. However, the name should be changed. So I'm going to change the name now, and the new name should be international count. So as you can see here, I'm adding a quotation because this will be a text now. Without the text, it's just a number. But whenever you put a number between quotation, it will become a text. And this is already a text field, if you remember when we imported the first time. Okay, and this is how you can put numbers next to each other. You have to make both of them text, otherwise it will be added normally. Okay, so now we're good. From this, we can jump now and do the rest in the reports. Okay, because in the query we have only these two steps: either filtering the data or adding new field. Everything else, remember, everything else will be in the report. Without thinking, we are going to save this part, go create report wizard, and since I send only the needed field there in the query, do I need this field as well? Time, total time, international, yes, and I need all of them now, so I'll just send all of them like this, and I'm going to go next and make sure that there is no grouping. This is grouping now. This is a high priority, this is low priority. Make sure that it's all in the same box. Make sure it's all in the same box. Go next, go next. Sorting, we can do it from inside. Should be portrait or tabular. Let's look. It should be landscape. Next, we have a title. Include the title Monday morning group. So I just include the title from here, even though I can do it later, and finish it up. And this is your report. Immediately, we need to get rid of these hashtags and make sure everything is readable. So I'm going to go layout view, and then I'm going to fix this holding control from my keyboard and using the left arrow. I'll be dragging these to the left like this so I can give extra space. Same idea, hold control, select both of them, use the arrow to get an extra space here, and I'm going to fix this one as well. All right, and the same goes for the day. This is the boring part in the report. However, it's very important to do it, because if you have anything not visible, they will deduct your mark. They will happily deduct your mark. So make sure that you just give it attention, more attention, and be patient with it to make sure that it all appears nice and you can see it. Okay, guys? If you have any question, please, as I say, comment there. Okay, don't be shy. And this one as well. Okay, total time. I think this one and this one can go even further to the left here. Yes, to give more space for these two fields here. So, okay. And international, all right. Go to the left, please. Ah, here we go. That's good. Just make sure that, see, make sure that you don't go here. If you see these lines continue in here, that means you're getting into a problem. You're outside the printing area. Yes, make sure always the dash line here like this, and there is nothing here. Okay, that means now you are actually outside the area. And DOB as well here. And of course, you can make it even better than me. I'm doing it quickly. So just make sure that you take your time and make sure everything appears, nothing is missing, and we're good. So what else? If you remember, sorting, we have skipped this one, which is sorting the data into descending order of session and then ascending order of DOB. And that's why I love to sort it from this part here, because whenever you go here, where you are in the layout view still, remember, you go sort and filter, you can actually add more than one level of sorting here. So the first one is descending order of session. So the field that I'm going to select is session, and descending means it's a Z on top, okay? And ascending order of DOB, so I'm going to add DOB, and it should be ascending as well, okay? Ascending means from smallest to, from largest, from newest to oldest. This is now ascending. Now the opposite, yes, this is now ascending from small to big, okay? Double check. And we can hide group and sort here, and filter single page wide landscape include, we have done this, and then we find the number of records on the report and place it at the bottom with a caption total records. And these are the equation that they might ask you. Whenever they say find the number of records, that means just count. It doesn't matter which field you are counting, because the record will be the same anyway. So I'm just going to use the last name here, total count, and I'm getting 33 records here. I'm going to right click, set a caption, and to change the title or the caption for this, which is total record, as the question says here. Format only the cells that contain Friday to be displayed with a light gray background and bold black text. Okay, so this is conditional formatting now. So the cell that contain Friday, which is the days here. So I'm going to format this part, which is the days. So I'll click here. We have format here. We have conditional formatting. And this is one of the rare questions that comes in the IG for this part. It's very popular in paper 3 spreadsheet or Excel. However, here it's rare. But let's do it and see how it can be done. So the value will be equal to Friday And what's happening here? There should be light gray background, bold text. So light gray background, it's a bold text, and it's a very light gray background. So here we go. They might ask you other questions. For example, they might ask you even sometimes to hide one of the field. If you would like you to hide the international code number here, for example, this field, I can go properties of this fields, and it should be a normal properties, please. Okay, and if you go here in format, it says visible or not. I can actually hide it and say not visible. Can you see here? So if I go print preview, you'll find all the field appear except the field that I've made not visible. So remember now, whenever they ask you any kind of question regarding the formatting, you can always right click and go properties, and you can do so many different things here. You can make it visible or not. You can change the border style. You can have some kind of shading to cover all the informations there. You get it? So you can actually do many things. Okay, you just click on the fields and you go formatting, and then you can change different formats. Okay, so what do we have here? Have your name center number appear in the footer of the report, so it appears in the same position on every page. And whenever they say the same position on every page, you go design view and you make sure that in the page footer, everything that's put in the page footer will appear in each and every page. Everything that you put in the report footer will appear only in the last page. Remember, we have done an equation. This is our equation, which will appear only the counting in the last page. So here they say appear in each and every page. How we do it? We go labels and you put your name here, okay, followed by candidate number and center number. Okay, if they say just put it on the report, it doesn't matter where you put this label. You can put it here, you can put it here, you can put it even here in this area. But whenever they say appear in each and every part of the report, this is how it appears. Okay, save and print your report. And we know how to do this, how we can save and how we can print the report. You can print it from here by going print preview, right click here on the name, print preview, and it's a nice report. As you can see, the equation appear on the last page only, and your name appear everywhere. And you select the printer that they are giving you in the exam. You raise your hand, you ask for printing, you print, you get the paper, you double check. Okay, that's it. And remember, in the exam, whenever you are printing, raise your hand before you print to tell the invigilators that you need to print, so that they know or expect to find your paper there. Okay, do not just print or just listen to their instruction. Next, now we have another type of the report, which we call another type of a report that should be, this is a mistake here, this should be a label report. Okay, to create label. Okay, so this one is labels. So we're going to create labels now. Okay, and in the label, the following will be set. It says show only records who do not have food allergy. That means under food allergy field, we're going to select the option no food allergy, and the relationship should be mother and the gender should be female. And then these selections will be shown in a label, looks like this. Okay, and remember, whenever they ask you for a report or a label, the first step we do is query. So I'm going to close this report after I save it, close the query of this report, create a new query now, and in the new query, and remember, never select a query from a previous query, and unless you would like to modify the previous query or add extra selections. So whenever they say from all the field or from all the data, that means whenever you are creating a query, you create it from the main tables you have. Okay, so here, what field should be shown? The field that will be shown later in the label here: first name, last name, child ID, gender. Let's send them first name, last name, child ID, gender, and contact name, contact number. So contact name, where is contact name? Maybe it was there. Contact name, contact numbers. Next, finish. This is my query. I need to select it, otherwise I'm going to print 124 labels. So you need first to extract. Are we good, guys? And the extract will be food allergies should be no. And look, sometimes once you send it, we don't have actually food allergies here. We don't need it to appear, but we need it as no up here. So I can actually add it, but later I'll not send it to the label. So I will just look here for food allergy, double click, it will appear here, and I will not use it later in the label, but I need it here because I need the food allergy for only those who do not have a food allergy. So I'll put no here. That's why I've added this field, and I will run to double check that these are the guys that do not have any food allergy. So whenever we give them in the event, they will just eat it. Okay. Relationship is mother. Do we have relationship or should we add it? We don't have relationship, so I'll double click. See, it's easy to add extra fields, and it should be a mother. Run. Only mothers will be there in the event. And gender should be female. Of course it's female, but let's do it, why not? And gender should be female. Let's run it. Female appears. And now how many we have? We have 9 records only, or 9 invitations, or 9 labels. So now after we have done this query here for the label, we can go here and it says produce label, okay, and arrange in 2 columns, because they might ask you to be arranged in 1 column, 2 column, or 3 columns. And later it should be 4 rows and total of 8 labels to the same page. Okay, it should be 4 rows or total of 8 labels. So now let's start from the beginning. We need labels and it should be 2 columns. Now once I've done my query and I've saved my query here, I will not close my query. I will go create and I will go labels, because when I click labels, the labels will actually use the query open here. Okay, so now we have so many different labels. It can be either 2. If I go down there, it will be 3 to the column. The question says it's 2 columns, or sometimes the question might say 2 across. So whenever they say 2 across, which one we select? We select these. Sometimes they're giving you specific example. For example, the dimension, the width and the height. We don't need the examples. We can actually select any width and any height here, but later we can change them. Okay, so just select anyone with 2 regardless of the width and the height. Later I can just change it. I can do the formatting later, just like the report. What I need is what should be displayed in the label, and it should be first name, last name in the same box, in the same line. The rest are in different line, but I will just put them for now in different line, and later I will take the last name from the second line and put it here, and I will show you why. So first name, last name, gender, contact ID, child ID, gender, contact name, contact number, and I think that's it. Yes, the rest we don't need. Remember, we have added food allergy and relationship in the query only to select them there so we can filter them, but here we don't need them. So I'm going to go next. Sorting, we can do it just like the report. Never do the sorting from these windows. Always do them after you have done. Okay, imported it, and this is my label now. Some data might not be displayed. There is no enough horizontal space. We can fix the horizontal space. So whenever we have here, I can immediately go design view and fix these. So first of all, make them smaller. And remember, the last name, it should be with the first name. See, I just drag it from the gray box here and put it here to be able to control the space between the first name and the last name. And I'm going to drag these by selecting them and using the arrow in my keyboard up here. And I'm going to make this one smaller so I can have a horizontal space. Let's go print preview. So as you can see here, still the last name is far away from the first name. So now I can actually have more control over them. For example, I can make the first name smaller. I can drag this one like this. I can go for math. and I can make this one left align, center line. You get the point here. So you can actually have different way of controlling over these, or the distance between last name and first name. As you can see here, I can even move it even more than this. So let me do it now and show you how. So first name, last name. See, you have more controls by this. Yes, and you can even make them smaller. But however, these are closer, so I need to extend the space between them, the horizontal space, so the labels appear one here and one here. So let me do this for you now. Just extend it like this. Okay, and I'll move this one like this, and it's better. Look here, they're starting with the edge of the paper here, so I will just try and add a header down there, up here, a small one like this, so I can have a padding from the top. And here we go. You can even extend the space, and it should be how many? It says it should be, the label should be 4 per column, 8 total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 5 per column. I need to get rid of this one. So I'll extend the length of the label itself, make it bigger, so it will take less label vertically, like this. 1, 2, 3, and we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 5. Let me give you more space. I'll get rid of you. And now it's 4. Nice and done. Okay. Now include a center line heading in a larger font and bold the text VIP Mothers Invitations. Okay, so VIP Mothers Invitations. Let's go design view, and I need it at the top, so I'll just hold these and drag them. I need to select all of them first, and then using the keyboard I'll drag them down there, and I will add a label from here like this, and it should be, it says it should be larger fonts and bold. Okay, so first of all, I just extend them and make sure that they are in the same line like this. No one asked me to make them wrapped. And I'll push them down there, and I will go formatting up here, make sure it's bold, make sure it's normal one, make sure it's bigger in font. And let's double check again, print preview. Nice. So what else we have here? Have your name, center number at the bottom of each label, and then we save the labels. And the same idea here. You go design view, you add a label or a caption here, and I'm going to put my name. Okay, let's double check now and make just make sure that it's always, the text is always black. Okay, so it can appear easily. Print preview. It's nice. Very nice. And you can go and print it after selecting the printer. And that's it for the second type of a label or query. Okay, now this one now is different. Step by step you'll understand the idea. Refine the selection of the query you have created in step 3. That means bring that query back and let's add extra criteria. Done. Let's do it. So step 3, that means that the first query, I think, which is the first, yes, the query that we use for the first report, which is child query 1, child query here. So I'm going to close this one. I'm going to go create query wizard, next, and instead of taking the query from the main tables as a fresh query for a fresh report or labels, I'm going to use the query we have already used before. See, send it, finish it. Remember, it was 33 records. So I'm going to go design view and refine it. Refine it means add extra selection, such as the session should be morning. So under session here, I'm going to add morning, run it. Here we go. The session is morning. And show only the field child ID, first name, last name, and session. Child ID, first name, last name, and session. So I'll just untick these out. Okay. First name, session. The rest are antique. Okay. What else? Sort data in ascending order of first name. Here we can do it just here, ascending. Double check. First name is ascending. It's all L anyways. So next, this is the tricky part. Export the extract. Okay, that means you need to export it outside the access as a table in a rich text format. Okay, and you need to save the exported file in your working area. To export it, after I save it, remember the name is child query 2. Do we have it here? Yes. I can just right click on the name here, select export, and I have different ways. If I'd like to export it to use it as a chart later, I can export it as Excel. If I'd like to use it to export it just like a text file, I can export it as a text file. But here the question says export it as a Word RTF file. So I'll click this option here, and I'll make sure that I browse for the folder I would like to store it there, which will be here, and I will name it export. They might give you a specific name, exported query. I'm just making it visible for me. They might ask you for a name. I might change it and make it anytime, and then you click OK, and see, if I go back to my folder now, if I show you the folder, you will see that the file is actually there. Okay, the exported query, where is it? This is it. So the next question might be, open the exported query, copy the table in the, okay, remember now we need to delete part of this rows. Remember in the question it says, sometimes it's not done, I don't know why. It says that show only the field child ID, first name, last name, and session. So everything else should be deleted, like these three columns. Right click here, and I'm going just to delete these three columns. It should be like this, okay? And now the question might be, open the exported file, copy the table, go and open the word that you have done in task 2, the word production, and place this table under a specific paragraph. You get the point? Yes, so they might ask you to open it and use it, either to put it in the PowerPoint, to put it in the Word section in task 2, once you are doing the Word section under a specific paragraph or a specific subheadings. So you can actually now use it outside the Access application. This is the whole idea of this exportation. Okay, that you create actually a query, but this query will not be a normal report or a labels. This query will be exported and used outside the Access application or the database application itself. Okay, and now to the part of the forms. Now we're going to use the forms, which is very important because they always ask you to create a form, either a normal form or a user-friendly form. And here the question says it should be a user-friendly data entry form. Okay, are you good, guys? Any question regarding the past part? Any question? Okay, let's continue. You are now going to create a user-friendly data entry form. The form will contain radio buttons for the use. Data from selected must be stored in a new field. Number 5. Insert a new field in the child table name. So actually, the new form will be done after I do this step. See? So this is just only a paragraph, and then we do this step, and then we create the form here. So let's do this step, and I've taken this step from one of the past paper in 2024. It says insert a new field in the child table with the name element underscore ID, and this field will be used to store data from radio buttons data that we use normally whenever we have a boolean file like yes, no. We can use them as a radio button where you can tick on, select yes or select no. And remember, yes and no are always set as -1 and 0. So whenever they ask you any radio buttons that you are going to use, the field should be a number or numeric field, because radio buttons accept only numbers. Okay, so whenever we are actually creating this field in the table, we are going to set the data type of this field into numbers, Whenever they say it should be used to store radio, it's a number. It cannot be a text. So let's do it. So I'm going to go back into child ID. I'm going to jump into design view, and I'm going to put the new one. And here I'm going to make it a number. I have no other option but a number, and I'm going to save it. Okay. So please showing that the field names. So they ask you again to make sure that you have done it. So just giving them again another screenshot if they ask for an evidence. As you can see here, they ask you for placing an evidence and save the table. And now we can start creating the form, and we expect to use the field we just created in the form. So create a user friendly. Whenever they say user friendly form, is not like when they say only create a data entry form. User friendly, that means it should contain features, at least 4 features. Okay, but if they say create a data entry form, it can be just created without adding any features or making any modification to the form. So look for this question carefully, please. Whenever they say user friendly, you expect them to ask you for some sort of features. Okay, so using the selected field from the child table. Okay, so we need to send these fields from the child table, and to do it I'm just closing my table, go create, and as usual we select form wizard. Okay, just wait, stay with me. Okay, so we let's see. What we need the last name, first name, child ID, gender, DOB, last name, first name, child ID, gender, DOB, and right date and food allergy. Right date, and we need food allergy, and that's it. The rest we don't need. And next, finish. This is your form, and this is what we call a data entry form. It's not a user friendly yet. If they ask user friendly, you need to modify this and make it more appealing for users. Okay, so I'm going to go immediately into layout view and go back and see what they need. Display each and every record at a time. It's already happening. Place an evidence screenshot showing your form with a record from the database displayed. You can actually take a screenshot showing it up to you. So can you see here? There are more records, and I'll go to the first record, and I will show them the for like this, taking the for name and this area or this area up to here. It's accepted. It's showing them that you know how to create a form. Okay. In the form created, okay, let's now it's getting interested. Create 5 group radio buttons. Okay, and the user must be able to display. So these are the options that need to be done in the radio buttons. And remember, for the features, you can have a radio button, you can have a drop down menu, you can have an instruction notes, you can have navigation buttons. So we're going to do all of them here. Okay, so now this one should be a radio button, which is a feature that makes the user easier to solve the form. Now to do it, I'm going to go design view, and it says that create a new field. So I'm not replacing one of the existing fields. So I'm going to add an extra space down here. And from here, all the features are here. So radio button is always option group, which is XYZ. So I select it like this, and it will ask me what are the labels. I do have them. These are the labels. So I'm going to copy and paste them here one after another. Okay, and let's go next. No default one. Next, and as you can see, it's not even your what they call it. You don't have an option. It will appear as numbers. That's why if you remember the field that we have created with the name element ID, I've set it into numeric because these are numbers. If one is having an asthma, it will be stated as 1. If you click none, you don't have any kind of allergies, it will be stated next to you in the recording table as a number 5. You have nothing else to do here. And where we store it, and the question says the option selected must be stored in the element ID in the child table. So I can actually store it in this ID, element ID. Remember, even though I don't have it here, but I have it in the child table. So it's not a problem. I'll just click element ID here, and I go next, and it should be option, that means radio buttons. They might ask in the exam to make it a checkbox or a toggle buttons. It just depends on how they would like the interface to look like. It doesn't matter that much here. And you name it element. So I'm going to copy this name here, and it will be element, and here we go. But remember, we have consistent formatting. All the field names are here. So I will just click here in the small gray box next to element here, as you can see, and drag the field name so it's appear like the rest of them, and we are good to go. So make sure that the radio buttons are grouped as one. Yes, they are grouped as one. As you can see here, they are all in the same box. The option selected is stored in the element ID. Yes, it's selected in the element ID. All labels in the forms are aligned to the left consistency, no overlap, no overlap. Place in the evidence, and this is the important part. The radio buttons group as one button group with each label ID. Now to do so, I'm going to go form, and you're going to go this screenshot. That means they are all in the same box, okay? They are grouped all in the same box. This is the first evidence. Evidence of your method of linking it to the field. They need to double check that it's linked to the field. To do so, I'm going to go back design view again and right click on it, go properties, and look at the data here, because it will show them that the control or the link field name is here. So I need to give them this box here, which is showing them that it's being linked to that specific field here, as you can see. Okay, this is my second evidence. And now let's add the rest of the feature that makes it a more appealing, okay, data entry form. Okay, gender field as a drop-down menu that is limited to the two genders in the field. So gender fields as a drop-down menu, and gender field now is a text box, as you can see. It can display male or female, but you have to type them manually. So let's make it a drop-down menu where the user can select either male or female. And to do so, remember how we have done it before, you need to delete it and reintroduce it again as a combo box, which is this option. Okay, and I will type them because I only have two of them, which is male and female. So I'll just type them here. Okay, and next, where we store them, we have deleted the field, and the field we have deleted is gender, so we need it to store in gender. And even the name, when I go next, it should be named gender. Here we go. So now we have the gender field here, and we have it here. Let's test it. That's working fine. Yes, so you can actually select it from here instead of typing it down. A suitable instruction notes, happy to do so. Instruction notes, I can make so many instruction notes, but the one that I always like to make is making sure that adding instruction notes on the top here by adding a label saying that make sure you fill all fields before saving your records. Okay, so I'm just giving them an instruction. If you are adding a record here, please make sure that you fill all of them before saving it. You can have different ways of doing this one, though this is an instruction method. A food allergy has a radio buttons that is displayed as a toggle buttons. So let's check how food allergy appears first. Food allergy, it appears as yes, no, so we need it as a radio buttons, same like these. However, it's different now because I have only two options. It says that it's a radio button, so I'm going to go design view, and remember, whenever I would like to change it, I need to delete the old one. So again, repeating this one, but for different option now, which is very interesting. Look, it's a yes, it's a no, no default, and the yes should be displayed as yes. It will refuse, it will say no, -1 please. We don't expect letters here. And it's no, and it will refuse. If I click up here, it will say -1 and 0. So that's why, remember, XYZ or option group is always numeric, and we'll store it in the field that we have deleted, which is, I forgot it, which is what was the field? Food allergy, and it should be food allergy. And of course, the name or before the name, it should look like option. No, it should this time look like a toggle buttons. So remember, this is ready buttons, this is check buttons or checkboxes, and this is toggle. So this time it will look like this, and it will be name, of course, food allergy. And here we go, an overlapping happening here. So let me first drag this down here, make sure that the title is going here, push these down there a little bit. Okay, now we have a nice one. Push this up, you go down, and that's it. Nice one. So as you can see, whenever I'm running, it's changing. That means it actually linked between them, and it's easier now for the user to fill it. One navigation button of your choice, navigation. So I'll go boxes here, which is buttons. And for navigation, just make them here, where the user can actually, after finish, can go to the next record. I'll make it as an, even though text is good, add next record, but also the arrow is good. And one form operation from your record, again repeating it, however this time for an operation. So I'll go form operation instead of record navigation. Remember, you can have record operation, record navigation, form operations, and the popular one normally after adding is closing. So I'll make a closing form, and I will say close. No, there is a nice picture here. Yes, nicely done. So you can actually close this one, and I can put it here as well, where you can actually close. See, let me do it. Close, and it will save. Yes, see, so you can actually open the form and close it from here, or you can add anyone and put it here as well, it doesn't matter. And place your evidence, the drop down menu of the gender fields, evidence of the drop down menu, you go design view, gender field. Where is the gender field? This is the gender field now as a drop down menu, or what they need. Drop down menu of the gender field. The drop down menu is limited to the two options only. So the evidence of the drop down menu, you can do it from here. Click, take a nice screenshot. This is the evidence of the drop down menu. You can take part of the form or only this area. Limited to this, so that the user can only insert female or male. I can do it from the design view. I can right click and go properties, which will appear here, and I have an option say limit to the list, which is no here, so the user can actually type anything else, or I can limit the user to select either male and females and not type in anything else. So I'll make this done yes, and of course you need to provide an evidence that you have set it to yes. Okay, like this. Okay, limit to the list should be yes, and we are done. Use the form to add the following fields. Simple. How to do it? You go back again where? Form view, add a new records, and the boring copy and paste part is here now. So let's do this. I'm going to try and quickly. If you have any comment, please, this is the time to type it. If you have any comment. Okay guys, if you need any part that is not understood, this one is yes or no, this one is yes, or tick on yes. And asthma, so I tick what? Eczema here. Okay, and I will save. That's it. Do I need evidence? Check. Sometimes they might ask you for an evidence. So if they ask you for an evidence, this is your evidence of the new record that you have created using your data entry form, like this. And here we go. Next, open the child table. Okay, so I've done with the form. So I'll just close the form here, and I'll go and open the child table. Yes, what you need there. And use an automated search to locate the new record entered in step 17 with the child ID. So I need to search for this record with this child ID. This is the record that I've just created here. Okay, and the child ID is a primary key. So if you search for this number, you should get one only record. Okay, but here it says automated selection. Let me show you the difference between normal selection and automated selection. Normal selection, you can type and search here. So I can click here, paste, and I will get the record. See? Here is the record. but I get the rest of the records as well. But if I use automated selection, I should only get this record without showing me the rest of the table. So to do it, I will go here, this arrow under child ID, select text filter, equal, put whatever I'm looking for, and it will appear like this, which is the best way of whenever you are looking for a specific record, of course. And place evidence showing the use of and the record. So I'll just click again here, equal, put it just under it here, and this is my evidence showing them the method I've used and the record I've got. Okay, and that's it for this part, which is the presentation, the access part, guys. But I would like to add another part here, or two parts that I've put here, okay? And I don't know whether these two parts will come in the exam or not, but they are very important two parts. I'd like you to look at them. They rarely come in the ICT exam. One of them came 2017 only one time, and the other one, which is, we call it a summary query here because this one is not done in the paper. It came before 2016 as well. So let me start with the summary query and create a question with a summary query for you, and then I will do the validations as well, so we can just get, you know, this paper done. So in summary query, they might ask you to create a summary query that shows, for example, the number of records of females and males. Okay, I don't know whether females and males, I should add an S. Okay, anyways, females and males per weekday. For example, in Monday I have 12 female that will come, and in Monday I have let's say 10 males will come. You get my point. I need to know per each and every week how many male and how many females should be there. Okay, this is the criteria. Okay, so as you can see, this is a summary query because I need all the males per specific week in every week, and it should show the gender and days and a count of the number per day. Okay, so this is a normal query, but it's a summary query. Okay, and then later we're going to export this selection to be used as a chart. So it will be exported as a CSV file. Okay, so we can open it using a spreadsheet and file. Okay, and name it with any name. So let's do this question that I've made now. We should create a query, which is a summary query. Sometimes they never mention summary query, but you see what they need. They need the number, the total numbers. They need the total numbers of females and males per week. This what shows me that this is a summary query. Okay, per gender. So how we can do this? Let me show you. Let me show you if you get this, and go back into 2013 and 2014, please, to only the access part. You will see a similar question, just different criteria that you are using. Okay, so I'll go create, and then whenever I go here in the query, where is query wizard? Query wizard, it says that show only the gender and days. Okay, show gender and the days. So I'm going to show gender and the days in the sessions. Okay, so where is it? Gender here and the days. Okay, day. Okay, and I'll go next, and I'll go summary. You see, Normally we go next and we leave it as detail. We go next, we finish it. See. So it will look like this if I just finish it as a normal query, where I have 800 to, but it does not require male, female. It need you to add them. How many males are in Friday? How many males are in Tuesday? How many females? You get the point. That's what the question says here. So I'm going to go back again and create the query to show you now how it will look at the summary. So again, we need the gender and we need the day as the question says. Next, summary option, and I will say what you need me to do here. I need to count the records. Okay, and finish it. See, female Friday, 300 females are coming. A male in Friday, how many? 435 are coming for only Friday. Are we good? So this is, as you can see here, if I go design view, you will find that it looks normal. It's look normal. However, here it says group by. Okay, and I can only add the gender, the day, for example, booking different days, group different days as well. So this is the first day, or I can say group by as well. Run it, so it will show you even female in Friday, female in Monday, female in Saturday, female in, you get the point now. And I'm going to save and export this query, which is query number 4, as an Excel query or an Excel file, just what I've done last time when we exported it as an RTF. Okay, this time I'll export it as an Excel file. I'm going to use it and save it inside. So this is the Excel export. Okay, query, summary query. Didn't say okay. Okay, and let's check. Now it should be here. Yes. So as you can see here, this one can be also a table. This one can be a chart. If you'd like to compare days here, you can actually compare it and use it as a chart, and then copy the chart and place it somewhere else. So this is what we call a summary query. This is what we call a summary. So that's it for the query here. Let me now discuss with you the last part, which is in my question paper here, the validations. And this one is normally should be in chapter 7. So now validation is in chapter 7, where you can set length validation, range validation, presence, format, and lookup. Now let me show you. For the length validation, see, let's say the question says, make sure that this field, contact number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As you can see, we have 10 numbers for each and every contact number. So the standard is 10. So if the question says, make sure that the contact number can accept only 10 numbers. It should not accept more. So if I type, for example, 888, it will accept it here. No, it shouldn't. It should not accept it. It should reject it. This is what we call a length validation. And it happens if you are inserting a password or creating a password online. You will notice that most of the time that they say the password should be between 5 and 15, and you should follow this. And they will detect whether your password is lower than 5 or greater than 15. You get it? So how we can do this? We can go design view, contact number. Down here, I can add validation and I can add warning messages if you violated this validation. So I'm going to now add my validation rule, and I need 9 numbers. So between quotations, I'll put 9 question mark, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means I'm actually reserving 9 locations. So I say 9 numbers only, please. So if the user inserted anything greater than that, this message will appear. Let's see. Let's save it and test it out. All right. Okay. And then let me try and add another 2 numbers here. See, 9 numbers. Okay, only. So as you can see now, I've set a validation, which is restrictions and some sort of rules that should be followed whenever you are inserting the data. Okay, very good. These are greater than 9 or what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it's 10. So we should actually make it 10 numbers. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Okay. Okay. Let's me fix this part. It should be contact number. It should be 10, please. So I'll add another question mark here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now, as you can see now, if I add any extra, it will say no. It should be only 10 numbers, you see. So it should be only 10 numbers. So this is what we call a length validation, and this is how you do it if they ask you to make sure that there is a field that should have a specific length. What else? What other length? We have range validation. Range validation, that means the field should accept a range of numbers only and reject the rest. Let's see what table we can do it for this. What field here? So the range can be, let me check the booking table. Let me check the makers. So let's do it in the booking table, in the child table. Let's make sure that the date accepted for the students between 2020 and 2024 only. So no students below 2020 can register. For example, if this students here is 20, is let's say 2019, it should be rejected. Okay, so it should be between 2020 and 2025 only. Let's make it better. So I'll go back again. Registration date, we need it for what? For the DOB. The DOB, if I go here, the rules, the DOB should be between, let's say, the DOB will be different now. We're not going to do it this way. DOB will be between 2020 and 2025. Okay, so DOB, going down there, validation, and I need it to be between 2020 and 2025. But remember, this is a date, so I have to include the day, month, and year. Okay, guys? Yes. I will repeat that part. Okay, so let's do this part first. So it should be greater than or equal 1 2020, because the first day in 2020 is accepted, and less than or equal 2020, now less than or equal 31/12/2025. Okay, so only the DOB between 2020, the first day in 2020, and the last day of 2025 should be accepted. Okay, and I will put it here as a validation text. Between 2020 and 2025 ages only accepted. Okay, so if anyone inserted an age that is not 2020 between 2020 and 2025, it should be rejected. Let's test it. I'll change this and make it 2026. Rejected. I'll make it 2019. Rejected. You get the point. And if they ask, okay, or if they ask you to make sure that you have some kind of an evidence, this one will be your evidence. Okay, if you'd like more explanation even in this, guys, go back into my channel and check the video on chapter 7. I'm doing a video to explain chapter 7 in the theory part. I'm explaining this part as well in more details. Okay, and I'm using the access as well to explain it. Okay, the application, so you can go back as well and do it, check it from there. So what other validation we have here we need to discuss? Presence validation, that means do not leave any field empty. For example, don't forget to put the first name like this. It shouldn't be accepted by the application. To do it, I will go back again, design view, click again in the first name, and this time in the validation rule I will say not null, should not be left null. The message will be must contain something, and I will save, and that's it. So if I remove this, for example, must contain something, you see? This is whenever you are filling something online, you'll notice that, okay, you'll notice that uh, if you forget to fill one of the fields and you're trying to register, they will force you to make sure that everything is full. This is what we call presence navigation. And check back chapter 7, as I said, the video as well. And we have format validation as well. A specific format has to be followed, and this is done for the date format normally. You should be day, it should be month, it should be year. And this one is given to you on the paper. Remember, in some papers, whenever you are importing the fields, they might say that please use DD here. In the description, they say DD, MMM, and YY in the table there in the question paper. And we do it where? Remember, we type it here. You click and you type it here under format. This is what we call validation as well. This is also a validation, and it's called the format validation. It's done whenever you are importing your tables. If I click it here, it will be medium. See, this one look different than the DOB because this is medium and the DOB is short. You get it? So this one is actually done by them whenever they ask in a question paper to import a date format and have a specific date like this one. So this one, we call it a format validation. And we have the last but not least, which is lookup validation, drop down in the table. We know how to put a drop down on the form, yes, by using a combo box. But they might ask you to do it in the table. For example, in the child itself table, I have female and male. They might ask you to make sure that female and male can be selected using a drop down, not in the form, in the table. To do it, I will go where? Design view, and I have female and male. And remember, guys, these questions, they came a long time ago. I'm just revising them for you because we expect anything, okay? So don't be confused. Go back chapter 7, do them again. Revise only the part of validation in chapter 7 video I have in my channel as well, and pay attention. So the gender here, instead of a text box, it will be a lookup, and lookup means a drop down in the table. So I can say lookup and it will say, see, just like I'm doing the form. Would you like me to get it from another table or type it? No, I have them, female and male, so I need to type it, and I will type this one male and I will type this one female. Okay, next, it's a gender field, and I can actually limit it so that they can never change it or they can never provide any other one. I can put this as my screenshot evidence as well. Finish it. Let's go back and see. Now all of them can be selected except whenever they come to gender, you have the drop down. Okay, guys? So this is what we call validation. Only 2017, if you go back, please go back and check 2017 paper 2, you will find that they brought this one. The question was selecting M or F only should be accepted. Sorry, not this one. This one, range validation. They said that the gender should be M or F in that question, in their question paper, which is 20. It came in 2017. Go back and check 2017. You will get this validation. The rest of them never came before, but you never know. You expect anything. Okay, that's it for this revision paper. I hope do this paper again at home. I will provide you, as I said, I will send you in your group all the question papers and the supporting files. Do it yourself. Do the paper yourself. Make sure that you cover all the paper. Okay, presentation, will do it next time. Of course, we don't have time now. I'll do the presentation with you, but make sure that you have, revise this access again. If you have questions, send me my WhatsApp. If now you have a question, I will stop the recording and I will be answering your questions. All right, guys.